The Biden administration spent more than $12 billion on HUD's Continuum of Care, or COC program. The COC is the largest federal program giving relief to the homeless. Yet despite this spending spree, homelessness rates skyrocketed.
So, Secretary Turner, I have heard you in speeches talk about Christianity and how God is so important in your life. So I don't quite understand why you're being so dishonest in this video. Homelessness has been increasing for a long time, even during Trump's first term, because we have a housing affordability crisis that continues to get worse.
These numbers tell a clear tale of a homelessness industrial complex that was failing.
Every time I hear someone say homeless industrial complex, they're usually pushing the criminalization industrial complex. Here in California, it's $152,000 per year per inmate to incarcerate someone. And when they get out of jail, they have a criminal record and cannot find employment. So it just perpetuates the criminal industrial complex. But let's be honest. The homeless sector has literally been housing more people than it ever has. But for every $100 increase in median rent, homelessness increases by 9%. Let me repeat that. For every $100 increase in median rent, homelessness increases by 9%. There's over 19,000 people new to homelessness, entering into homelessness every single week. That is the crisis. That is why more money is being spent. That's why you're seeing more homelessness. We have to fix the affordable housing crisis, or homeless numbers will continue to skyrocket.
That ends today. If a policy is bad, all the money in the world can't turn its failure into success.
And that's exactly why the policy that you're trying to push through HUD will be devastating. It's based on misinformation, ideology, and cruelty. You're cutting what works by insane regulations that are going to hurt the most vulnerable, and you're promoting what will fail.
And housing first, which is the policy that motivated the Biden administration's spending, is a bad policy. Housing first asserts that solving homelessness requires permanent housing with no strings attached and no real accountability. It ignores the root causes of homelessness, like mental illness and drug addiction. It provides seemingly endless taxpayer dollars to warehouse homeless populations with no way out.
You're the HUD Secretary. You know this is a lie. HUD's own research shows housing first dramatically reduces homelessness. Up to 88% reductions, 41% better housing stability compared to treatment first programs. You know this, and you know housing first is a philosophy, not a program. It's a framework based on evidence that says when people are provided housing, then services, it produces the best outcomes. Housing first didn't fail. We failed to provide housing first with the resources it needed to succeed.
That's why we're reforming this program. I'm happy to announce $3.9 billion in competitive grant funding through our latest COC competition notebook.
Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor.
And yes, welcome to the nonprofit Hunger Games, where your survival depends on how loudly you can praise Donald Trump. Let's call this exactly what it is. It's an ideological purge. You're cutting funding for organizations that help LGBTQ people, some of the most vulnerable people experiencing homelessness. And didn't Jesus call us to help the least of these? Yet you're going to intentionally exclude them? And then you're cutting funding for harm reduction? That is literally a death sentence. Treatment fails more than it works. We need treatment. It's important. But treatment plus harm reduction plus housing has the best outcomes. We need harm reduction to keep people alive so that they can go into treatment. And let's be honest, forced treatment does not work. Recovery works best when people actually want to recover. We have to treat the person. Cutting permanent supportive housing, or as Cicero Institute likes to spin it, we're not cutting funding. We're just going to put all these Trump rules in here so nobody gets funding. It will be catastrophic. People will die. People will suffer. Homelessness will grow significantly across the country.
This NOFO enacts the most significant policy reforms in the COC's history. It ends the Biden administration's focus on housing first. It promotes transitional housing and self-sufficiency.
You, Sean Foy, he is a Christian nationalist, opportunist using the gospel of Jesus for personal and political gain.
Among the homeless, and stops the slush fund that enabled 90% of projects to be on an auto renewal over the last 4 years.
You're using a Libs of TikTok tweet? Really? There is nothing Christ-like about this Twitter account. It is a hate account and has been directly linked to bomb threats at hospitals and schools. It is disgusting that you're using Libs of TikTok.
We're ditching that status quo and opening up competition to support real solutions, including from faith-based organizations. We are focusing on accountability and transparency. We are enacting these profound reforms as part of President Trump's executive order, ending crime and disorder on America's streets. Because our goal at HUD is to support safe communities and pathways for self-sufficiency, dignity, and opportunity for all Americans.
What you're creating is a nightmare. Homelessness is already skyrocketing across the country. Yes, there's an addiction crisis. Yes, there's a mental health crisis. Most people, most Americans suffering from addiction and mental health will never experience homelessness in their lifetime. The leading cause of homelessness is the lack of affordable housing. Yes, we need eviction prevention. Yes, we need treatment. Yes, we need harm reduction. Yes, we need mental health services. Yes, we need outreach. Yes, we need transitional housing. Yes, we need permanent supportive housing. And we need it all working together as a coordinated, community-wide system to prevent and solve homelessness. What you're doing is unthinkable. It is going to hurt so many people. And let's be honest, it is not Christian. You aren't following the teachings of Jesus. You're following Donald Trump. I'm going to link below to some videos. Now, if you're watching this on Instagram, it's kind of funky, so you're going to have to copy and paste. I also wrote an article. I come from ministry. I wrote an article about speaking to the faith community about housing first. If you're watching this on YouTube or Twitter, you can find those links below. If it's on Instagram, you're going to have to copy and paste. I know nothing is going to change because Donald Trump is pulling the puppet strings. But these changes that you are making, people are going to suffer. People are going to die, and homelessness is going to significantly increase across the country.